wishes he had a mute button too, so that's all right. Okay, so okay, take 3. Okay, breaking outside your type is really important to just look beyond what we find physically attractive when we're trying to engage with people or wanting to talk to people. Although someone might not be like super awesome to date, or like they might not be like your first choice on someone that you really want to engage with, doesn't mean that these people can't add something to our lives. But we also want people to give us a chance as well. So I might not be somebody's physical type, but I'm a great guy. I'm a fun person to know. Sometimes people are connected. Other people are really dynamic. So be careful about just talking to people that you find attractive or want to have sex with. Look for other qualities other than physical stuff. As you're talking to people, look at the way, like maybe like what's drawn to you is the way they engage with other people. Maybe they're really kind. Maybe they're really dynamic and fun or goofy. There are a lot of things that can draw you in rather than just the physical stuff. Get to know people you don't want sex from. And be careful about making assumptions about other people. And I say this mainly because we all make up stories in our heads. You look at somebody and we make a snap judgment. Whether we're conscious of it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, you can look at somebody and go, yeah, they're probably a douche. Or, yeah, you think you know about someone. Looking at someone, you don't know their history, you don't know what they've gone through, you don't know their traumas, their challenges. So you might look at somebody and be intimidated, but they may be really, really shy. They may be standing off to the side. You think they're kind of off-putting. In reality, they might just be really freaked out about being social. So be really careful about the stories we make up in our heads about other people, because we want people to give us a chance. We might need to give other people a chance too, without that judgment. We know what's going on in our heads, but we don't know what's going on in theirs. So here's some ideas that I had about important things about connecting in person when you're interacting with someone. We know body language is important. To be conscious of how we're standing, how we're interacting, you know, is my head down and my arms crossed? You know, making eye contact is a really, really sexy thing. It's really neat. It shows confidence. It can be really friendly. So it's not necessarily about like staring somebody down. If you're in a conversation or you're in a place and you make eye contact with somebody and you lock eyes, it might be your natural instinct to look away and, you know, whatever. Or you might just keep the eye contact for a second and wave, smile. Hey, how are you? It can show a lot of things other than I want to do you. It can show you're confident enough to maintain that eye contact. Also, maybe you're friendly. You might freak them out, they can run away, but you know, at least you can maintain that. So your first instinct is to maybe get insecure and look away. I would really encourage you guys to try to make eye contact and just be kind of friendly. So plan for introductory statements. Hey, how are you? I'm Brent. Oh, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. How do you move the conversation forward? It might be just stupid chit chat stuff. Oh, cool, I haven't seen you here before. Have you been here before? Beautiful day. Lots of different things. So have like a little pocket full of these one-liners, maybe, that you can use. It's all it is to engage conversation and then to try to keep it going. Hopefully the other person will know some of these techniques too, and they can keep a conversation going as well. Make yourself visible and available. So if you're in a public space and you want to meet people, I know it's easy to be on our phones. Especially if we're feeling awkward, you know, but I can be here, but if I'm here, I'm not here. I'm not with you guys. I'm not making eye contact. I'm not looking to see who's looking at me. I can feel awkward and feel like nobody's looking at me, but I don't know. And I know it's easier to be on Scruff or to be on like my Words with Friends or whatever, but sometimes we get stuck in our technology because it's safe. It's our little like safety net. So, you know, keeping eye contact, looking around. You might be in a group of people. You might be alone. Be on your phone for a second, but then look around, see who's around us. Um, create opportunities to say hello. You make eye contact with someone, hey, how are you? Walk up to them, introduce yourself. If they're a dick and they like look at you and like sneer and walk away, that's on them. That means there's something going on in their world. It's going on something like that's wrong in here with them. It has nothing to do with you. We'll talk about that in a second. 9 times out of 10, hopefully when you go up and talk to somebody and say, hi, I'm whatever, nice to meet you, how are you? Hopefully they'll want to engage. And if they're a dick, blow it off. As much as that hurts, sometimes it's all right. So we'll talk about that in a second. Don't wait for the perfect moment. I have missed so many opportunities because I'm like, I'll talk to him next time. You know what? There's no time like the present. Right here, right now. If you're in front of somebody, talk to them. You don't have to run up to them, but you can challenge yourself, and it might be uncomfortable. It might feel awkward, but there will never be a perfect moment. You probably are not going to wait till you feel so good about yourself. You're just going to be like the social stud and just be like, I'm going to talk to every cute guy that's ever intimidated me. So don't wait for that perfect moment. Put your phone down. As much as it's hard. Okay, so online. It's a challenge for a lot of people, especially with people being kind of grumpy online or not following through or whatever. So here are some things that I've come to understand that can help online. Writing your profile is important. Some people don't read profiles. Other people read them a lot. There's a good length. Too short, there's not a lot of information. Too long, if you're reading a novel, people might think you're crazy. Maybe they think that you're really verbose. There's a lot of different ways to write a profile, but it's really like an advertisement. You're marketing yourself. So talking about your strengths and passions, hopes, what you hope to get out of this, letting people know kind of who you are and what you're all about. You don't have to tell everything. This is just a little mini like Cliff Notes version. Like, don't feel like you have to get everything out. This isn't the book of your life. It's really just about enough to lure somebody in to go, I want to know this guy more. I work with so many of my clients on social media presence, on their profiles and all that stuff. I think it's an interesting thing because you have to think about what your end goal is, who you want to attract, what kind of things. If it's friendship, activity partners, dates, hookups, there's a lot of different ways you can write your profiles. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Spend time looking at other profiles. It's okay. There's no plagiarism. No one's going to say, hey, you didn't write that. You didn't write that line, But then again, unless you're 6'2" and, whatever, don't say you're 6'2" and, don't lie. Be accurate, be honest, but really like talk about the things that make you awesome. Convey what you want through your pictures. It's important. They don't have to be like model sexy pictures. If your sense of humor is the thing that really gets people, if that's one thing that you're really excited about or feel really confident about, use those things. Use pictures that really put a spotlight on the parts of you that you like. So, ask for feedback from your friends. Go, hey, would you look at my profile? Or would you read this? Hopefully we've got some friends that would help us out. Revising them is fine. Make time for certain things. And this goes for socializing in person as well. You can't work online and do it like for 15 minutes every 2 weeks. It doesn't work. If you're going to engage with people online, I don't care if it's Match.com, Too Many Fish, Scruff, BBRT, Ass Pig, whatever. It doesn't matter. You have to invest the time. And I'm not saying be on there all the time. Don't make it a nice little addiction. Don't make it like your entire world. But, if you're going to engage with people, make the time to respond to messages, to have some chit chats, to make your presence known. Sometimes people are like, well, I'm on it for 5 minutes every 6 months and see it doesn't work. Well, not necessarily the fault of the tool. It's sometimes the way that we work it. Tools are not good or bad. A hammer is not good or bad. If you're building a house, a hammer is good. If you're chasing me down the street trying to bash my head in, a hammer is bad. So it's not the hammer's fault. It's what we do with it. So, being online is just another tool that we have to connect with people, especially for people like me that don't go to bars and can't. I mean, I've lost a lot of my hearing. I don't like loud bars. I don't like tons of people. I don't like drunk or high people. Being crowded in and pushed, I don't like either. So sometimes like stuff like online really works for people. Some people think it provides an element of safety. So it might not hurt so badly when you get rejected or somebody doesn't respond. Then again, sometimes people get so hurt by people not responding. Sometimes people think that being online is more detrimental. So anyway, so just a few things in general as far as connecting. Remember, it takes time and consistency. Shameless self-promotion is important. If you're not going to beat your own drum, if you're not going to talk about your strengths and you being an awesome guy, nobody else is. I'm not saying be a narcissist. I'm not saying be self-important, be like, I'm amazing, blah, blah, blah. It's not that. It's about, it's about having that confidence to know where you're good. It's that confidence to know that you've got a big heart, you're kind, you're sweet, you're fun. That's the important part. So shameless self-promotion isn't about being boastful. It's about being confident, which can be hard if our self-esteem isn't really at the forefront, but there's something to work on. Creating an elevator speech. If so, this happens a lot. People are like, so tell me about yourself. Take some time. Think about what is important to you. And they call it an elevator speech because if you're maybe 20 floors, so you get on an elevator, you've got the space of 20 floors riding up on an elevator to tell somebody about you. Think about what's important. Like what you do, if you're retired, what you did, what your interests are, what you like, why you're here, what gets you off, what makes you excited to get up every day. So an elevator speech is really kind of a quick answer to, hey, tell me about yourself. Now, if an elevator speech goes on for 5 minutes, think about what that puts out. You're like, oh God, would you shut up? Right. The what?
Empire State.
Oh my God, yeah. The elevator speech is all the way up. Totally. But if you go, I'm just kind of boring. I don't really do anything. Oh my God, that's the quickest way to shut somebody down too. So it's like Goldilocks. This one's too long. This one's too short. This one's just right. It's so take some time. Think about this. Like if you were to have somebody ask you, tell me about yourself, what would you say? What kind of things are important? Again, make yourself sound interesting. You know what? Don't lie. But, if your level of interest is a 2, turn it up to a 5. There's a lot of different ways to say stuff about you in a way that makes you sound a lot more confident and into what you're saying. So maybe you're a painter, right? You just, you're not in galleries or anything, but you enjoy painting. It's like, I love to paint. I don't know if I'm particularly good at it, but I love it. That shows interest, that shows passion. It makes somebody probably a little more interested in hopefully getting to know you or continue a conversation. Cool, do you have any pictures of your paintings? And it's like, they might suck, but whatever. The more you put out that you're confident about it, I think the more you sound good about yourself too. Always ask your friends. Hopefully we all have friends that will give us the hard truth, not just pat us on the head and tell us that we're awesome, but legitimately offer some suggestions, hopefully, maybe offer us some support, be our wingman. Go, I really want to socialize more. I hate going out by myself. Will you go with me? Can you help me? Maybe you go to more social friends. Can you introduce me to some people? I think I want to be more social. Those kind of things are awesome. So we don't have to do everything by ourselves. Sometimes it's about getting help. Meeting new people is important. Expanding our social circles. Okay, moving engagements along is a big deal. Sometimes, all of us that have been online know that sometimes relationships live and die online. We've been talking to the same person for 2.5 years. We've never met them in person. It's like pulling teeth to get somebody to go out for coffee sometimes. It can be really frustrating. So meet in person as soon as possible. And if the whole thing is, if someone doesn't want to, then admit that it's not going to go anywhere, or say, you know what, I'm really into like meeting people, so I don't really want to waste time. It's okay to set boundaries. Getting contact information. If you make plans with somebody, I found that it's really important to get a phone number. So if I make plans for coffee, I will get phone numbers and I will text them the day before, like, hey, this is Brent. Are we still on for coffee tomorrow morning at 8? Because I hate showing up and it's like 20, 30 minutes later, they're still not there. They're like, what the hell? I don't like to waste time. So if you make plans, and we need to be conscious of this too. Be on time. If you're gonna be more than a minute or two late, call them, text them. Sorry, I'm running a few minutes late. If you need to cancel for some reason because something came up, it happens to all of us. Don't do it 5 minutes before. Don't do it the next day. So sorry, something came up. That's rude. We hate when people do it to us. We shouldn't do that to other people either. Follow through with commitments unless something has an emergency. Yeah, communication's good. What a concept. All right. So now here's some fun stuff. It's important what we wear. So I went through 4 or 5 different shirts before I came out tonight. I'm just like, okay, what's not going to hit my love handles? What's going to make me feel okay? It's probably going to be warm. I'm probably going to be nervous. So I don't want something too heavy because I'll sweat. Then I'll kind of get stinky, which might be okay, but it might not. And I don't know. And I can't wear white because what if I get, like something on it, like mustard? Anyway, wear something that makes you feel, I know the shit that goes on in my head. So wear clothes that make you feel comfortable. Yeah, if you've got like awesome shoes, go for it. Power shoes. Yeah, look up from your phone, scan the room, eye contact. Picking about social cues is a big deal because sometimes someone will make eye contact and they might look away. And so we might take that to mean they're not interested. It could mean that they're shy like we are, or maybe they're not interested. I don't know. But making eye contact with somebody, you might want to go up and say hi, maybe. So keep conversations going. Finding balance between talking about ourselves and them and us, it can be hard. I've definitely been on dates with people that don't stop talking about themselves. And then half an hour later, I'm like, wow, they don't know anything about me, but I know everything about, everything about them. It can be really frustrating. But sometimes we might get nervous too and talk about ourselves too much. So just be conscientious. Don't disclose too much. Getting personal is fine. Just make sure that, if on the first or second time hanging out with somebody, probably isn't necessarily the best time to talk about deep-rooted traumas. Be careful about talking about our exes too much. Now, if it comes up in conversation, don't skirt it. But if you're there trying to get to know somebody and you spend a half an hour bitching about how much men suck, then you kind of squandered the opportunity to get to know someone. So just be careful, That being said, maybe that's what's going to bond you guys together, is that gay men suck sometimes. So, whatever. So be assertive. Don't feel like they're calling the shots in the conversation. It's like a dance or a good makeout session. One person generally isn't in charge. Usually it's a dance. It's 2 people interacting together. So hopefully conversations are like that as well. Giving compliments is awesome. Body contact is great. Now, I'm not talking about grabbing crotches. I'm talking about touching somebody's arm, giving them a hug, touching somebody, not in a sexual way, just in a connection way. That can show friendship, that can show kind of an emotional connection or a friendship connection. It can also convey that you're interested, as opposed to, a lot of other nonverbal stuff or grabbing somebody's butt or whatever. Focus on positive experience instead of focusing on negative. Don't give up. Sometimes, and I've had this as well, where the first 5 minutes of a coffee date is awkward and weird, and you're like, ugh, this is going nowhere. More times than not, if I've given it a chance, I can find something redeeming. Sometimes it's just the awkward nature of the first few minutes. Or you get to know somebody more, and maybe you are going to go, yeah, this isn't going anywhere. But don't give up too easily. Don't keep score. Like, oh, he just said this really stupid thing at -1. Be careful. Well, and sometimes like people do this category thing. They'll hang out with somebody for 5 minutes, like, oh, that's gonna be a friend. Or, oh no, I want to date that guy right now. We need to date. By the time this coffee date is over, I will have a boyfriend. And a lot of times, like people will try to put people in categories right away. Sometimes the best goal is to really just have a good time doing whatever you're doing. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. My hubby was right. There's way too much information. I'm sorry. But you know what? You're going to leave here with this mind full of information and this heart full of stuff that you can try. So I'll just go through this relatively quickly. So there's a book called The Four Agreements. I read it in graduate school. I thought it was really cheesy. And at my time at Blue Tiger, we have all of our clients read it. And it's actually really profound in a very nice, simple way. It basically says be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And these 4 things, you might not agree with how he responds to things in a spiritual nature or whatever, but you know what? If you have integrity, if you realize that, like, if somebody's shitty to you, unless you've done something to really deserve that, it's on them. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions about other people or about situations, and just do your best. There are 4 really nice ways of looking at the world and how we engage with it. So if you ever look for a real easy read, and you can read it in like an hour and a half, in behavior change, it's kind of a recovery thing. So this and the next slide is all about kind of 12-step recovery quotes, like made famous in 12-step recovery, but it's so relevant to what we do, just in any kind of behavior change. And that's what we're really trying to do. So insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different to happen. But you know what? I go out, I don't talk to anyone, I leave alone. I feel dejected, I feel awful. Okay, you got to change it up or the same thing will happen. So here are some of these quotes that I love. I won't go into super great detail, but so yeah, Journey of 1,000 Miles starts with the first step. It's okay, you'll get there eventually, but you just got to take that first step. It's progress, not perfection. If you're waiting for things to look easy or perfect, it's not going to happen. Acting as if or fake it till you make it. It's not acting it inauthentically. It's really about going, okay, I'm feeling anxious. I'm going to walk in with confidence. I'm going to talk to people. I'm okay. You might not fully believe it inside, but fake it till you make it or acting as if you are confident will sometimes get your mind and your body to kind of follow suit. So it's all about practice, because practice makes perfect, theoretically. If you find a path with no obstacles, it probably doesn't lead anywhere. It's about the journey, not the destination. And probably my favorite is fortune favors the bold, meaning the more bold you are, the more chances you have for success. If you're not bold, to step out of where we're comfortable, it doesn't happen. It's really easy for us to stay where we're at. Even if it's not happy, I think we know that we're comfortable in this place. So, the ability to step outside. All right, so we're down to the last ones, I swear. This was just, so when I went through both of the books that I wrote, and I started pulling out these ideas that I think are the most relevant to trying to be more socially engaged and more successful in building up friendships and other kinds of relationships. So the first thing is believing that you're worthwhile, believing that you deserve good relationships, that you're awesome. Don't get cocky, but for God's sakes, like love you. And I know it's easier said than done some days, and depending on what our experiences has been that's affected our self-esteem and our self-talk, it can be really hard. But that's why friendships, counseling, self-exploration, all these things are so important. Do the things that improve your self-worth. Don't lose faith in the fact that people are innately good. The majority of people are kind. The majority of people aren't there to hurt us. Most people don't suck, hopefully. I have to live by that, because if I think the world is full of assholes and people that are trying to harm me, I'm not going to engage. So I believe in the goodness of other people. I try not to become jaded and distrustful. It can be hard sometimes. Yeah, remember, most people are kind and trustworthy. Disappointment and rejection hurt. There's no doubt. And I can't say don't be afraid of it, because fear is a natural response to not wanting to get hurt. But we all get disappointed. We all get hurt sometimes. It gets back to the idea of fortune favors the bold, and that if we live in fear, then we're just gonna protect ourselves and isolate. So get bold. Be a good person. Have integrity. This gets down to this idea about having fun, or at least trying to look like you are. So one of the nonprofits that I run, we do a singles group here once a month. We'll do one next Thursday at 5:30. It's called Palm Springs Single Guys. And all it is a social group once a month. That's it. No pomp and circumstance. There's some snacks. People get together, they hang out. Hopefully the idea is that they meet. It's also a Facebook group. So if you go to Palm Springs Single Guys, there's 2,200 guys in the Coachella Valley that I've done my best to make sure that are single and live in the area. Theoretically, people can network and talk to each other. I know a lot of people in the in-person things are really challenged to get in front of people. The people that are the most successful look like they're at least trying to have a good time. So again, think about the body language, think about the facial expressions. Think of this stuff as an investment, not a waste of time. So playing the long game. If I say hi to somebody, I might not get what I want right away, but you know what? All I'm trying to do is to move the process forward. So if I say hi to somebody, hopefully the next step is doing something, grabbing a bite to eat, coffee, going on a hike, getting in bed, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just know that the game isn't to be won by the next move. It's a chess game. So there's a longer goal in mind. Spend time being friendly, getting to know people, just being nice. Set up some future things. There's somebody that told me this a long time ago, and it served me so well throughout my life, is talk to people like you know them. Not jabs, not like you're your buddies and you're giving them shit. More about being friendly with somebody like you already met them. So I could, if you just meet somebody, talk to them like you're comfortable with them. Talk to them like you're already friendly. It puts them at ease. Theoretically, it can put you at ease as well. Don't bail at the first sign of discomfort. Don't run away. And practice. Okay, last one. Celebrate who you are. Remember that confidence is sexy, that you're amazing. And you have to, if you're not going to beat your own drum, nobody else will. So look at those things that make you unique and wonderful. Your mind and yourself can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Never, ever, ever turn yourself down before somebody else does. We can talk ourselves out of so many things because we think we're psychic. We think that we know how things are going to go down. Nobody's out of your league. I don't know what this league is everyone talks about. Nobody's out of your league. You can always say hi to someone and hopefully they'll be friendly. Are you going to get laid? Maybe, maybe not. Are you going to go on a date? Maybe, maybe not. But nobody is out of your league to say hi to. That's all you need to worry about. Be aware of your thoughts. Don't lose faith in others or yourself. And, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to go, you know what, this is not easy and I'm pissed off. I feel like giving up. I feel like running away. That's pretty normal. Arg. Oh my God. Okay, I'm verbose. I'm sorry. Okay, be careful about liquid or chemical courage, drugs, alcohol, be careful about that because, it can make you even more awkward. It can make you maybe do things you might regret. To calculate risk. It's kind of like the lottery. The more you play, the better chance that you have to win. So keep on trying. Don't predict the future. You're not psychic. And if you are, tell me some lotto numbers. Be careful about making assumptions. And there's nothing perfect. There's no perfect situation. There's no perfect moment. And yeah, those people that are rude to us, screw them. All right. Now the final thought. Changing anything in our lives takes a lot of different things. But I think it boils down to 4 different things. You have to have the desire. You have to really want this. Our motivation can go up and down over time, but we have to want something. Plan well. Set those goals, evaluate, come up with a plan, change it up. If things aren't working, try something else. Practice. Do it over and over and over. The more you do small talk, the more you do an elevator speech, the more you engage with people, the more you maintain eye contact. The more you go up to someone who intimidates you and say hi, the more you challenge yourself to face your fears, the better and more comfortable you get at it, and perseverance. So, don't give up, keep up the fight. One of the coolest things about me being able to speak to HARP is that there are a lot of people in this room that have fought and survived and lived. And now they're being faced with social stuff. The pandemic hurt a lot of us in different ways. And now that, the pandemic's still around, I mean, the COVID's still around, the flu's still around, all this ignorance is still around. But as we're hopefully getting more into this idea of getting out there more, hopefully you're going to leave here feeling better equipped, more motivated, or maybe there are a lot of more questions. But regardless, hopefully this has been beneficial, at least to get the wheels turning a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't too cheerleader. I know sometimes I can come across as being rah-rah. Like, you're good enough, you're smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like you. I'm a little Tony Robbins, I guess, sometimes. But I really do believe in the strength of people, and that all of us have this kind of light that needs to shine. So whatever it takes, I think is really important. So we've got, it's like 10 till 8. If you guys have questions, comments, whatever, we can talk about that for a few. Here's all my contact information. If you want the slideshow, let me know. I'll send it to you. If you have questions, if you want to send me an email, if you want me to tell me I'm full of crap, that's fine, whatever. I won't take it personally. Yeah, well, I'll cry. Yes.
I thought you were great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hey, call my mom. Tell her I'm okay.
On the phone with her now.
Good. Do you guys have any questions, comments, emotional outbursts? If you guys need to go, please go. I know I kept you longer. Are there still extra sandwiches, by the way? Like, if you guys are hungry?
Two things I wanted to say.
Oh, please.
Just remember, our next meeting in January is going to be neurological complications and HIV. And we have extra sandwiches out there. We do order extra in case people show up and haven't ordered one. So there's those, but there's sandwiches from people that didn't show up. So please take an extra one for your lunch, or if you have a neighbor, a senior neighbor or something like that you could give it to, then we